Today we're making a Philippine pork liver dish called Igado. Hi everyone! Today we're making a pork liver dish called Igado. Here are the ingredients for our recipe. We're going to need about half a pound of pork belly. Doesn't have to be pork belly, you can have any cuts of pork you prefer. A quarter of a pound of pork liver cut into strips. 8 cloves of garlic minced. About a teaspoon of black pepper. 1 cup of soy sauce, half a cup of vinegar, 1 whole onion chopped, about 8 pieces of dry bay leaves, additional 2 tablespoons of vinegar, 1 can of peas. Traditionally, this recipe calls for garbanzo, but I don't like garbanzo, but for this recipe, I'm just going to use peas. 1 piece of red bell pepper cut into strips, and 1 piece of green bell pepper cut into strips. Here are the complete list of the ingredients. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to be marinating our pork overnight. So we placed our pork in a container. We're going to add in about 6 cloves of garlic minced, half a cup of soy sauce, and season it with some black pepper. Mix it well. And just like that, we're going to set it aside. We're going to cover it, place it in the fridge, and marinate it overnight. So about 30 minutes before we cook, we're going to add a little vinegar to our pork liver. We're going to add about half a cup or up to a cup, depending on how much vinegar, how much pork liver you're using. The point of this is to kind of cut down on the gaminess of the pork liver. So just mix that around and just let it sit in the vinegar for about 30 minutes before cooking. And once we're ready to cook, we're going to remove them from the vinegar and discard the vinegar. So it will help, so pretty much it will help cut back on that gaminess and the strong iron flavor. So now we can start cooking our dish. We will set our pot or our wok over medium-high heat. And we're going to start off by sauteing our onions and our garlic. Alright, so once our wok is hot, we're going to add in a little oil. We're going to start off with onions. Now we can add in the garlic. Continue sauteing until they're nice and soft and aromatic. Now we can add in our pork. Let's just stir this around. So we're going to continue cooking this until we get some color on our pork. And also, you notice we didn't add any water because the pork has will start to secrete some water as it's cooking. As you can see, we're starting to have some liquid in our pork just because of the liquids are actually coming out from the pork. So we're just going to continue tossing them around. Now we're gonna add in our bay leaves. So for the bay leaves, what I usually do is I kind of rub them together or crush them so that it will excrete all the extra flavor. Then we're gonna add in our ground pepper. Give it a nice toss again. What we're going to do now is set our heat to medium-low, cover it, and just let it simmer until the pork are nice and soft. Alright, let's go check on our pork. So we've been simmering our pork here for about 20 minutes over low heat, or medium-low heat. Let's give it a quick stir. Now we can add in our pork liver. So our pork liver, I forgot to record it, but what I did is I placed it in a strainer so that we can get rid of the vinegar that's in it, because all the gaminess is now in that vinegar. So we just remove the pork liver from the vinegar, and we just place it over cold running water to rinse off the excess vinegar. So now we're going to put in our pork liver. Mix that in. Again, rule of thumb when cooking with liver is do not overcook it, because they will get really tough and chewy. Alright, so let's cover it again and continue cooking it for about 5 more minutes. Let's give it a quick stir. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in our 2 tablespoons of vinegar. You can use any type of vinegar you want. And at this point, just let it be. Don't mix it. Let that vinegar evaporate. All right, let's give it a quick stir. Again, our heat is set to medium-low. Now we can add in our bell peppers. Just leave it like that for now, and then we're gonna cover it and simmer for about 5 minutes to soften the bell peppers. All right, let's check our dish. Let's give it a nice stir. So this dish is pretty much almost done. We're just gonna add in the last ingredient, which is our peas. Now, these are the canned peas, so you don't really have to add them while cooking because they're very soft. I usually just add them at the end when the dish is done. So just toss it in there. One last toss. That's it. Turn off the heat because you don't want to overcook the liver. And this is done. Also, don't forget, instead of peas, traditionally this is cooked with garbanzo beans. I'm not a big fan of garbanzo beans, that's why I'm using peas instead. So here's our finished dish. Igado. Just like any Philippine dish, this is best served over rice. So I hope you enjoyed today's recipe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.